Hi folks, you're with Tassus today, your pushback channel. Thank you for joining this live stream. In this essay, I'd like to talk about the alleged or so-called refugees at the Polish border. This is the border between Poland and Belarus, which is just like was previously the Soviet Union. So this is on the eastern Polish border. So just to get some perspective. There's refugees or alleged refugees, numbering in the several thousand that are trying to cross the border into Europe. They want to cross illegally. They want to march through and go to wherever they feel like going, and they expect to be let through, and they expect to be welcomed. And welcomed within the term. They expect every sovereign nation to roll over and give them whatever they want on demand. Maybe that's a better way of putting it. Welcomed will be a little bit different. Welcome suggests there's prior agreement or something between the parties. So they're inflicting themselves on, in this case, Poland, and are outraged that the Polish government expects them to prove that they're actually refugees and not people just running around looking for free stuff. Now, we need to stop, I think, calling people that like this as, well, they just want a better life. What's wrong with that? So, no, they don't. They don't want to integrate in Western society. They don't want to become part of Western society. They don't want to, they sneer at our culture and our lifestyle, and they want to hold on tightly to their Islamic traditions, their tribal village Islamic, and there's no more intense Islamic attachment than these tribal third world villages. So it's welded on, and they're not going to change, nor will their children or grandchildren, or maybe a very small proportion of them might. But they're going to be a foreign presence in the West forever. And how anyone can see that as desirable is a whole other thing. But look, they've arrived by, they've been helped by NGOs. NGOs have supplied them with the logistical machinery to travel these distances, give them food, transport, water, clothing, tents, all the means, everything they need to make the journey has been provided for them. Do you think any of these people would have attempted this if they weren't being assisted every step of the way? Of course they wouldn't. These were illiterate peasants, most of them. They can't even, they don't even know what day it is, let alone conceive any, but they can understand free stuff. That's something they do understand. You don't need to have even a minimal education for that. Free stuff is something they understand, and that's what they're coming for. They're not coming for a better life, they're coming for the free stuff. So let's be quite clear about that. Now, that means somebody or the NGO activists and agitators have promised them this free stuff. That you'll get it, it's yours. You can your free house, free education, free medical care, free everything, free, and more free on top of that. So they go, holy shit, I'm gonna go where all this free stuff is, and why wouldn't they? Now, they're not sophisticated enough to understand that there are certain realities around the free stuff and how much of it they can have and when they can have it and these sorts of things. But the agitators don't tell them about that. The agitators just say, go and get that free stuff from damn Whitey. Damn Whitey took it from you anyway, so it's really yours. You're just taking back what's already yours. And again, a lot of these people, a lot of them have got IQ between 70 and 80. They can comprehend free stuff, not much more than that. So they're arriving in serious numbers and being assisted. Some are alleging that it's the Belarus government that's flying them in from places like Afghanistan and wherever else, Pakistan into Minsk, which is the capital of Belarus, and then coaching them and busing them to the Polish border. Now, I don't know how else these people would get there, so that's got to be a plausible explanation. The only other thing is that the Belarus government is outsourcing this to NGOs, the Soros-funded NGOs type thing, and they're doing it with the approval and support of the Belarusian government. It's one or the other, and it doesn't really matter which. So they're arriving these gimme free stuff, gimme, and gimme more free. They're arriving at the border in big numbers, and they're clearly outraged. They're not being just waved through. It's unacceptable. We want our free stuff. Give me that free stuff and give it to me now. The sense of entitlement is quite astonishing. If you're a refugee and you're in a really bad situation, you'd be grateful for any country that would let you in, where you could escape whatever hard times. It could be persecution, or it could be famine, or something like that. But you'd be grateful for any country that would let you in and would give you any sort of help. But instead, these peasants who live out in the middle of the sticks, these peasants, illiterate in their own language, they somehow think that they should be given endless bounty, just free stuff from all sides, and it's non-stop. And they're outraged when they don't get it. Now this is this is strange. If you look at the villages and the things they come from, they've got fuck all in these villages, very little. They live barely better than a subsistence lifestyle, most of them. They're running a few goats, maybe a few sheep or something like that, and they're kind of getting by, but not much more than that. Many don't have running water or flushing toilets or electric lights, and yet they're coming to the West and expecting everything to be laid on, and they're jumping up and down and having a tantrum when they don't get it. Now, that's beyond my comprehension. If someone extends their hospitality to me, I'm grateful. Well, wow, thank you very much. I don't expect it, or I expect if I do get something like that I have to give something in return. But these people expect a free lunch that goes forever. And now they've got the idea from somewhere, and they've been assured of it from somewhere, maybe in many places. And again, they've been supported. So let's not confuse it. They're not refugees. They're people who are out to scam as much free stuff as they can, and they expect it to be endless and without limit, a bottomless pit of free stuff. And they've got an attitude to things that's probably not much more sophisticated than a young child, and money grows on trees, that sort of thing. And no, they're not the Federal Reserve. They're actually third world peasants. So we need to start calling this out. Now, it's interesting. I would have thought the globalists would have really come down hard on the Poles for stopping these freeloaders from coming across. They want to go wherever the state benefits are the greatest. So, Germany, Britain, and again, they think they're entitled to all of it plus some. So I was surprised that the globalists didn't give the Polish government a hard time, but the European Union seems to be at this stage supporting or not getting in the way of the Polish government in their quite justified efforts to stop these many thousands of people just randomly crossing their territory or even staying there. If there are genuine refugees there, and I'd be surprised if there's more than a handful, then their cases can be evaluated. But for the rest of them, no, they have to go back wherever they came from. And the United Nations needs to get a clue here. If there is Afghanistan as an example, then they need to set up United Nations camps there to look after these people until whatever crisis has passed, and then they can go back to their homes and their villages and so on, because that's where they have all their affinity and their kin and the like. They're only coming to the West for the free stuff, not for any other reason, and we need to accept that and just say they're not refugees. They're just a bunch of freeloaders, and we need to have a realistic conversation about that. The other thing that annoys me is the media the media coverage of this, or many of the main media coverage stations, view it from a strictly leftist perspective, globalist leftist perspective. So even though I think 3 or 4% of the people were children there, why you would bring a young child on a journey like that's beyond me. But anyway, yet when the news stations go there, you'd think that all those thousands of freeloaders were only women and children, and it's remarkable how the cameras seem to focus on 3-year-old girls dressed in pink. If that's not a propaganda play, I don't know what is. But they're doing that constantly, or we're doing it constantly, to try and indicate, well, these are women, pregnant women, little children. Do you know that brown little girl's going to grow up to be a lesbian later on? You damn fascist Nazis, stopping them from coming across. So the propaganda depiction of these, they're young, they're was it 88% or something, 87% young men, and who are just freeloading, coming across to do the freeloading. They're not women and children. That's bullshit. But the media tries to play that. I've noticed too, I don't know what these people think of their children, but there's one video I noticed. There's a guy holding what looks like a young child, probably 18 months, 2 years old, in front of him, and then throwing rocks, knowing that the Polish soldiers won't fire back or retaliate in any way. No, I don't know. Do you want someone like that in your country? I don't think so. You've been with Tassus today, your Pushback channel, and thank you for listening.